And Rashford waits, and Anthony waits, and Garnacho will get another go, and he'll twist away from Ake, and Rashford scores! The Reds, twice in a trice!
Okay, Rog, the other derby this weekend, Manchester United 2, Manchester City 1. The red half of Manchester officially serves a noise complaint to their sky blue neighbours, forcing them to, at least temporarily, shut off the Be Here Now, which has been blasting for what feels like the last decade. After a scoreless first half, it was actually City who took the lead on 60 minutes, when substitute Jack Grealish sacrificed a perfectly coiffed head of hair to thunder home a header. But United took the punch and hit back on 78 minutes after an offside Marcus Rashford was played through on goal, but didn't touch the ball, or made the decision not to touch the ball. Bruno Fernandes swept in to beat Ederson. We're going to go deep on that controversy, Rog. And just 4 minutes after that, it was Mancunian good vibes ambassador to the world, Marcus Rashford, who slid home the winner. Just a huge win for United here in every regard as they move within just 1 point of City now.
189th Manchester derby, so deliriously poised. Second place, Carabao flop, Manchester City visit a resurgent Ten Hag, Casemiro and Wout Weghorst Manchester United. One loss only since the stoic, preacher-esque Dutchman took charge, bringing his disciplined culture, his tactical vision, freed of the Ronaldo albatross. The Ronalbatross is United no longer just... I'm laughing at my own crap joke. Is United no longer just reacting, but able to enforce their idea of football on their opponent for the first time in a long time. After a dormant decade, merging a clenched fist once more, winner of 8 straight. Pep, his 500th league top-flight game as a manager, coming in aware that his team's suddenly vulnerable in defeat at Southampton, albeit just in the empty calories of the Carabao. But you have to remember, earlier this season, the Manchester derby, City thrashed United 6-3 in the reverse game back in October. This United, just saying that shows you how much of a different proposition they become. Cue a chess match of an opening, the probing stage. City dominated possession, but also United forced them out wide, which revealed a slightly self-damaging City propensity to give the ball away. And United showed that they believed that they could counter through Rashford, that he could hurt them. Really, the first half, I think commentators are technically, maybe contractually obliged, Davo, to call it cagey.
Yeah, it was very cagey. And, both sides had some chances. Suddenly Haaland looking almost nervous, I felt at points, like, clutching at things. And
thank Godfrey broke him.
Yeah, making a couple of poor decisions. Yeah, maybe Rog. And it was a very cagey. It was like anybody's game. And you just did feel, wrongly in hindsight, that the first goal was going to make all the difference.
Yeah, it's perhaps maybe early morning football on that Saturday. Neither team truly buzzing. City, again, I said they had their possession, but it was strangely sterile. United's organisation, their work rate really seemed to give them the edge. They had the best moments. Lethargic City again could not conjure a shot on goal. Haaland just 8 touches, only 2 in the attacking third in that first half. And into the second 45, City did up their intensity. The passes became more cutting. Haaland stayed further forward. Suddenly it was Rashford who looked isolated. On came the court jester, Jack Grealish for Foden. Pep decided, my team needs more calf. And City began to drive their opponents back. Then the moment, Mahrez sent De Bruyne free. He just casually De Bruyne the ball from the byline. That pass, Dave, really an invitation. You almost expected Haaland to be the one to rise up and hit it with his head. Instead, who had bad hair, big air? It was Jack Grealish.
I'm not sure I've ever seen Jack Grealish head a ball in a Premier League game. Defensively, in midfield, win a battle, win anything. So when he popped up to nod at home, I think everyone was somewhat surprised.
That's Pep's influence, because for the longest time, he didn't want the ball touching his hair. And I think Pep's really shown him that, Real footballers give their all. And honestly, as he ran away, just a roar of virility, which could not mask the surprise. He couldn't believe he'd done something good either. Second of the year for Greals. Pep, punch in the air, like a eureka moment. Realised that if his team actually have a shot on goal, then, they can score. But United, again, credit them. They had not lost at home in the league since the first weekend against Brighton. They threw on 18-year-old spark plug Garnacho, a live wire one-man nosebleed of a super sub, just a direct, confident attacker. His impact immediate, and United were rewarded in, let's be candid, the most controversial of ways. Rashford charging forward, clearly offside, but got to credit him. He's such an intelligent player. He didn't touch the ball. The defenders slowed, yes, but Rashford, I think about this, he must have shown such incredible restraint. He's a striker, and he had to dull his natural striker's goal-scoring instincts to repress the urge to so much as touch the ball. Instead, allow Bruno, with his fulsome teeth gnashing as he charged onto it, slap the ball home. It's almost like an NFL trick play. But Davo, within the letter of the law, you'd say a loophole almost in the offside law, because Rashford did not touch the ball, but not exactly in its spirit, right?
Yeah, but that's not actually the law. The one of the guys from the Referees Association, PGMOL, was on Sky Sports this morning attempting to defend the decision, and he got tied up horribly when he was being sort of asked questions by the interviewers, like just going through the laws and him attempting to defend it and getting caught in his own words again and again and again. I think that you made the point that he did not touch the ball, and I think that's what the referee and the assistant and ultimately, the VAR officials at Stockley Park became obsessed with, whether or not he touched the ball, which didn't really seem to be the key thing. Lots of times interference happens when people don't touch the ball. That's not the key thing. It's whether it affects the outcome of the play and affects the way decisions that defenders made. And, Akanji and Walker, and I think probably more than them on the Manchester City defence, stopped playing when Rashford was running up there, interfering with play. And he made a very conscious decision not to play the ball, and that conscious decision not to play the ball completely affected the play. I often think that when you look at these things, you think about your own team. Had that been Chelsea and that goal had been disallowed, I really do believe that I would have understood it. I just would have said, yeah, you know what? Chelsea had a goal a few weeks ago that was disallowed for interference, and I understood it. It just was and it felt like a little bit on the line, but I understood it. I just can't believe that wasn't disallowed.
The CBS rules expert, Christina Unkel, she explained that you're in an offside position when you execute an offside infraction by interfering with opponent or with play. And it was almost strict legal construction. Did he touch the ball? Yes, no, he didn't, therefore he's not offside. But he did run alongside it, did pull his foot back, a couple of little feints in there, whether intentional or not, to play the ball. And the reality is that is really the test for me. If Everton had scored that, I'd feel like we got away with one. If a team had scored against Everton like that, it would be a howling pain of indignation. It did not feel right, particularly in a game of this epic scale. I felt for City fans, their team, almost stunned by this, the temerity of it all. And while we were asking, did Bruno just score the biggest goal of Arsenal's season? Just 3 minutes and 47 seconds later, Garnacho reverse past Ake. Rashford, really the only player to think there could be an opportunity. He chanced to run into space. City's defence all utterly paralysed. Rashford there to stab the ball home. First United player to score in 7 straight games since 1959. 16th of the season all comps for Rash Beans. City reeling. And it was really stunning to witness, David. United, incredible. After that numbing, bumbling trauma, all those years of Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho, Solskjaer, Rangnick, United are a power again.
Yeah, absolutely. And expansive in the way that the great Man United teams of Sir Alex Ferguson were. Players putting on performances all over the pitch, players coming back like Aaron Wan-Bissaka having a, really impressive again, comeback almost from the dead. Great Really fun to watch, notwithstanding the goal, which I believe shouldn't have been given. Really fun to watch. This was a great Manchester derby, and we haven't had great Manchester derbies for a while.
This is a team that play with intelligence, with guile, with confidence. I've got to say, the league is all the better for it. Roy Keane had actually said midweek he didn't believe in the United team yet. He said they had, quote, cushy fixtures that had helped the run. This then was the opposite of that, a game in which it was impossible not to recognise the job that Erik ten Hag has done, instilling the confidence back to Rashbeans, just exercising that Ronaldo wound, building a collective idea of football, a resilience, locking down the back. Here, Luke Shaw resilient, Fred and Casemiro like the Block brothers. Ten Hag refused to, declare that glory days are back. We're in a good direction, but there's still a long way to go, he said. You look at him, he's beaten Klopp, he's beaten Arteta, he's beaten Pep, he's beaten Conte, just a point behind City. 9 off league leaders Arsenal. They've won 9 games straight. This definitely, undoubtedly, the most powerful statement of the Ten Hag era. But City, suddenly so human, confused, even vulnerable. Controversy in the loss, yes, that offside goal. But even Pep hinted that United deserved the win. He said they are an incredible threat in their transitions. I congratulate the team. They run behind us. They punished us in transition. Yes, Haaland could argue he could have had a penalty. Grealish was furious at the final whistle. Old Trafford was rocking so no one could hear him. And as much as you can feel stung by the VAR, truth was City only had 1 shot on target. And they are far from, to use Martin Keown's phrase, the well-machined oil that they have been in seasons past, right?
Yeah, absolutely. City, Haaland feeling almost mortal in the game, all over the pitch. Even when you look at their team sheet now, you're not like incredibly terrified when you watch them. And this has happened so quickly. This has really happened so quickly. And as Arsenal just inspire more and more and more belief, Manchester City are just going in the opposite direction. I still don't think it's over. I don't think the title chase is over. I think now you've got, Man United, also in there challenging. You've got Newcastle in there challenging as well, lest we forget. But no one really has these good vibes all over the place that Arsenal have. And Man United, wow, so impressive. So impressed with the job that Ten Hag has done from a club that was honestly in crisis, in absolute crisis. Ten Hag, what a choice and what a performance.
Yeah, for the United fans, the big picture, the club's takeover is said to be going down in February with a number of bidders interested. And from a City perspective, the only thing that does remain the same is Pep keeping it weird. In the post-match here, he pretended to throw in the towel on the title race. I don't believe a word of it. He said, I don't care about the Premier League and the Carabao Cup. Oh, we know you don't, Pep. We know. He said, we cannot win. We won a lot, so it's not a problem. He protested too much, but let the Pep to US men's national team Twitter fever ratchet up to 11. Listen to the full version of this podcast and all our podcasts wherever you get your pods. But first, subscribe here for more Men in Blazers videos. And courage.